Namaste. Welcome, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Tarot Card of the Year readings. My name is Sadhana, and this reading is for the Emperor. This is actually a really interesting, will be an interesting reading. I almost feel like I'm hoping the surrounding cards kind of give the Emperor a break. And what I mean by that is we've come out of a 4-year now into a 5-year. And it's like, while it was super, super challenging and maybe the Emperor didn't fulfill all that he could have fulfilled, I feel compassion. I feel compassion for the Emperor. And so my prayer is that this is a reading of kindness and gentleness and support. So the Emperor knows that he's not alone. But walking into this as your Emperor year is one definitely of building a foundation, building a new structure. This would be an awesome year to start building a home. It would be a great year to start building a business. It's a year of all of those qualities, positive qualities that you would associate with an Emperor. The Emperor is an invaluable leader, and the Emperor also will ride out with the troops, and lead the charge. So it's quite an extraordinary energy. Quite an extraordinary energy. I love how this Emperor is painted touching the ground. It's almost as if the Emperor has his hand on the ground and he's feeling the hoofbeat of the arriving horses, or just checking the pulse of the earth. And normally I wouldn't associate the Emperor with earthiness, but there is an earthy connection to the Emperor. The Emperor is also about expanding, right? Collecting territories, so to speak. And so, yes, there are negative connotations to that, but maybe it has a real Jupiter feel to it. And I know the Emperor is associated with Aries, but I also feel, and maybe it's just a personal feeling for the Emperor this year, but there is an expansiveness. So how can you expand? If this is your card for 2021, how can you expand? In what way? Oh, we've got lots of plants falling out here. Woad and mistletoe. I'm going to shuffle again. It was weird. I think it was just lazy shuffling. What I would encourage you to do is with the plant medicine, this last deck that I'm shuffling here, is to really pay attention to it and to invite it into your year in some way. It's here. It's here for you. Yeah. So if the Emperor is fire, the Emperor's tendency is to fire. The Emperor needs to really focus on the other elements and to bring balance into their year. So we need that fire, we need that self-determination, all those leadership skills, that tendency to act and go ahead. This was a really clear cut for this one. And I think with this particular card, we really need to look to the water. We need to look to the earth, the more feminine elements, to see what the Emperor needs to work with and work through. Okay. So I'm going to speak to the cups and the pentacles first, because these are the feminine suits. And we have the 8 of Cups on the left. We haven't had, this is the first time we've had this card in this series. This is the 3 of Pentacles. Remember I was saying about expanding? This is confirmation of that. So, but this is not individually. This is through the strength of many, right? They're creating a standing stone circle, and that's not something that happens with one person. We need the team. We need the whole team. And so the Emperor leads and guides. So it's important that you do hire the staff. Even if they're temporary, you will need them. And that staff, and use that staff in quotation marks, depending on, what it is that you're expanding into, what it is that you are building this year. A very, very different frequency I'm getting than the previous reading. So think Jupiter, think big. Emotionally, which is not where the Emperor is comfortable, there is something underlying. There is an underlying current that is very close to the surface that needs to be released. And this is what the 8 of Cups is about. I feel in this particular 8 of Cups that it's right there. And there is, it won't take much. All you need to do is perhaps to have a good cry, or to, it can be done in a lot of different ways, but just bringing that concept to your mind, that emotion to your mind, and exhaling it over and over and over, saying it out loud, releasing it to the universe. The key word here is transformation. So the important part of this release will only help you to grow, whatever it is you are expanding with and on. I've already shuffled this deck. This is your fantastic being for 2021. And again, this is a new card. We haven't had this one yet. This is the chrysalis. Senescence is the key word. Senescence is a process of aging. And just before I read anything else, I want to just acknowledge the level of maturity here. So depending on your age, there is this quality of wisdom and experience that goes with the Emperor. And if you are not of wise years or with lots of experience, this 3 over here would indicate how important that teamwork is. And I wonder if this here is some kind of childhood trauma that needs to be released in order for this transformation to happen. This senescence card wouldn't show up if we didn't need to focus on the maturity aspect, right? Because we don't always focus on the maturity of the Emperor. Hello, long hair, skinny-eyed toe, Andrew. How do I work with medicine plants? I make teas. That's the most frequent thing that I do. And I get that from my daughter. She's taught me how to forage, dry, harvest. And so that's definitely something. Eating them raw. So I have a herb garden. And this time of year, I actually still have a few things going. So I try to keep my herb garden going. Some things I bring inside, some things I don't. So eating foods raw, eating plants, making teas. I haven't made tinctures, which is something that I would like to do. And then the other thing sometimes is just being with the plant. You know, there's some, I don't know why I'm sneezing. Maybe I'm just tired. My body is just releasing, releasing. So what came to mind when I just said that was foxglove. I've often walked by the foxgloves and thought, how could I make medicine from the foxgloves? You know, like how could I do that? But sometimes I find just being with the plants, there's this frequency shift. And so those are the three things that come to mind. Senescence is a process of aging. It marks the end of growth and a rest of life cycle. For the caterpillar in its chrysalis, this dormant moment represents the end of one life and the emergence of another. This quiet stillness is a catalyst that triggers its astonishing metamorphosis and the beginning of something new. When events and phases reach their end, pause for quiet reflection, receive the lessons, express your gratitude, release old energy, and accept what is new. You have come a long way and take a moment to rest. Okay, so this is really, we've got a little story going on here. We've got a little story happening here. And I feel like what's happening over here is the preliminary work or the underlying work. And it's important that this work is as important as this work. So the emotional work is important as the physical, the construction, the physical work, the external work. These cards are so thick. Interesting. Looks like Durga, Page of Wands. Okay. Well, first thing is that the Page of Wands is a bit like, you know, that duck expression, water off the back and so forth. Not really connected to her emotions, but she is youthful. What's this Page of Wands doing over here? Just bear with me. It's almost like this is how you will feel when you come through this transformation. The Page of Wands is young and playful and a younger version of yourself, you know, a more, a little less thinking, a little less in the mind, more spontaneous. And so the Page of Wands wouldn't hesitate to let this go. The Page of Wands would just in a heartbeat, just one exhale breath and say, I'm done with this. I release this back to the universe. What is going on in your mind? This is an interesting combination of cards. This is the 2. So this, the story of this particular 2 of Wands, this woman is a wanderer. She's holding a pendulum. She trusts in the pendulum to make decisions. She trusts in her magic. She's guided by the wisdom of of all sentient beings, the plants, the winged, the four-legged, the creepy crawlies. And so she's deeply, deeply connected. I really feel like what you are building is something quite like building a home. It feels like this project is about building a home. So if that's not literally, like you're not actually hammer, saw, nail, wood, building a home, it feels something like that. Like it really feels like construction. So this side is about the preliminary work. This side is about the action, or this is not necessarily preliminary, but this is this underlying current. This is the practical message over here. What's your plant medicine? Wow. So these are very, kind of witchy, magical messages, as are these three. So these three feel very magical. Oh, this is a muddled reading. We haven't had many of these muddled readings. Oh, flower essences. Yes. That's a really beautiful thing. Okay, I'm going to look at the screen because sometimes if I look at it at a different angle, I can kind of get a feeling for what the basic energy of your year is as the Emperor. And at the beginning, I was thinking about how tired the Emperor must be because last year was an Emperor year. And so this year is like a break. I was praying for a break for the Emperor so the Emperor could perhaps focus on the internal rather than the external. And I was seeing a lot of magic here, but what they're actually building here is a magical circle. They're actually building a standing stone circle. They're building a sacred site. They're working at a sacred site. Let's turn to the mugwort. Maybe we'll get some keywords there that help to weave this all together. Mugwort. I would like to grow mugwort actually. Prophecy, clairvoyance, and protection. Using an oracle such as this can help you see beyond the everyday. So it's referring to the deck. But in addition to reading the words on this page, you need to engage your intuitive abilities so that you can see the card's meaning in a way that is valuable in the context of your own life. Choosing this card in a reading may suggest that conditions are propitious for the development of your intuitive powers. Mugwort is an aid in the work of prophecy and clairvoyance, which means literally clear seeing. Rather than developing any psychic power for its own sake, the Druids seek to develop the ability to see and understand things clearly. And it may be that such a clarity is a quality that you need to seek in your present situation. You can only achieve the objectivity necessary for clear seeing when you are untroubled and when you feel safe and secure emotionally. And so that's why all of this is over there, is because you can't really stand in your own power and continue to develop and expand until you deal with the emotional stuff. So this is really, it's not going to be a comfortable year for the Emperor from what I'm seeing here. Mugwort is a powerful herb of protection and can help you create an atmosphere of safety that banishes all negative influences while also connecting with your inner source of strength and healing. Okay. So no. So no and yes and no. There's layers here. This is definitely an onion. This is definitely an onion reading. And I want to encourage you to get to some of those deeper layers. And those deeper layers feel connected to childhood trauma. They feel like they're really close to the surface. They feel like you're ready to move on to the next stage, but you can't avoid them. They're there for you need to deal with them. Over here, we have a lot of magic happening, a lot of sacred messages. And so I would explore that. I would start learning to trust in that more. perhaps which is not the Emperor's comfort zone. So more than any other reading that I've done, yes, last night and today, it feels like this archetype is going to be most challenged in 2021. Most challenged. And by that, I just mean out of your comfort zone. So if you are indeed trying to expand this year, what is going to cause you to stumble along the way is not having dealt with emotions and things like that. And that, how that will manifest is it in the people that will come into your life. And so if you do have an opportunity to get to know some more magic folk, I use that term very loosely, there may be some lessons and some benefit in connecting with that kind of a community and expanding into this kind of a community, because they will help you and they will give you tools to move through some of this. Okay, so pick a card and focus on one of the cards, and then have a look at another card. Take a screenshot. Think about it for a few hours. Write a comment. Do some journaling. Sometimes these things take a while to percolate. Andrew's getting letting go of control and trust the process of others. And trust the process and trust others. Really interesting. Okay. So I will leave you once again. And we have, what's next? Hierophant is next. So there's 2 more readings, Hierophant and then the Lovers. Namaste.